If you relapsed, bounce back quickly. Stop feeling sorry for yourself. This is one of the major pitfalls for men when they embark on their no-FAP journey. When they've made the decision to abstain from pornography and masturbation, they are bound to relapse. I'm just going to keep it real. You can't go from watching porn every day and masturbating every day to just never do it again. I mean, there will be moments of weakness where you allow the devil in your ear and you lose control of your desires, and you end up doing the same destructive habit that you've done countless times before. It will happen. Now, when it does happen, make the decision again to never do it again. Look, the key is to not allow yourself to deteriorate after relapsing and get into this state of mind where you start seeing yourself as someone who's never going to overcome this addiction, and you start talking down to yourself, and I can never get a grip on things. I'll always be this guy. I'll always be addicted. It's impossible. It's this and this. And you start talking negatively to yourself, which will ensure that you stay down. And your mind will tell you things like, well, you've relapsed already. Who cares about no-FAP anymore? Just relapse again, and you'll find yourself justifying watching porn again. It's like people that have gone without drinking for like a month or 2 months, and then they slip up and they have a drink. It's rarely just the one drink. After they have that drink, they feel shit about themselves, and then their mind tells them, well, now that you fucked it up, there's no point anymore. And so they go for the second drink, and then third, and then fourth. And before you know it, they've lost complete control. So look, when you relapse, simply make the intention again to go on your no-FAP journey. This is something that you've been doing maybe for a decade. So it's going to take a little bit of time to shake off the bad habit. And usually the best way to, not return to that bad habit, because you can't just remove that bad habit, right? You replace it with other habits, other good habits, right? The important thing is that you change the way you see this. If you tell yourself that I will no longer relapse because it's a disgusting thing to do, sat at my computer watching a bunch of pixelated, explicit content, that's not a very empowering thing to do. That's not what a high-value man does. It's not. It's not what any self-respecting man does. As long as you see this habit in a destructive manner, because there's some people out there that still see it as a normal thing, hence why they'll never really shake off the bad habit, because they'll keep justifying how normal it is, when it's not normal. 100 years ago, people weren't sat at a computer busting nuts to a bunch of pixelated content, watching another man gain pleasure. They were out there with real women. Right? And so as long as you see this destructive habit in a negative light, you will ensure that going forward, you try and abstain from it as best as you possibly can. But it's okay if you relapse, as long as you make the decision again, right, I'm not going to do it again. And look, you may relapse again. You may relapse again, that's fine. But if the frequency drops, I've spoken about this before, the frequency dropping is how you measure success when it comes to being on no-FAP, right? If you go from doing it every day to doing it once a week, that's an improvement. That's an improvement. Does that mean that you slipping up was a good thing? No. But it's very normal. The good thing that we should look at is that you've reduced the frequency. And then eventually it'll get to a point where maybe it's once a month, and then maybe once every couple of months. And then it'll get to a point where you can't even remember when the last time was. The key here is to not allow relapsing to fuck your progress up. There's a saying, discipline your emotions. Tell yourself, well, that was fucking shit. I went a good 35 days without doing it, and I had to fucking ruin my progress. That was shit. allow it to annoy you a little bit, but then don't sit there and bathe in your frustration. Why did I this? And you know what? Fuck this shit, and then you load up the hub again and you just try and justify. It's just, don't spiral out of control. Don't allow your negative thoughts to destroy all the good progress that you've made so far. And look, I'm not a fan of counting the days. Don't be one of those guys, it's been 35 days, 36 days. Just ensure that you've changed your identity. I am a man who does not sit around and watch porn in order to feel fulfillment, to feel sexually satisfied. I will create a life of abundance, and I will attract a woman into my life that is madly in love with me, who I find incredibly beautiful, and we will have a very satisfying and fulfilling sex life. I do not resort to watching pixelated content for my sexual pleasure. As long as you've changed the way you look at it, that's the important thing. And then endeavor to ensure that you develop good habits that will distract you from the bad habits that you've been engaging in. Now, look, if you're just simply counting the days, but you haven't done anything different, you haven't taken any different actions, such as picking up a new instrument, such as starting a project on the side, maybe drop shipping or FX trading, whatever it is. I've said it before, you've got to preoccupy yourself with something that will fill in the gaps on your calendar. Because free time is the enemy when you're on NoFap. Honestly, it really is. It's the biggest problem. Free time. You got loads of free time. You're laying around in bed. You ain't got shit to do. You see a woman on Instagram wearing lingerie, and there you go. That's a trigger for you. And then your mind tells you, well, just load up the hub real quick. Just one video. Don't even touch yourself. Just watch the video. And then you find yourself naturally getting aroused, and then before you know it, 4 hours go by, and there you are, busted nuts all over yourself. So ensure that your calendar is as filled as possible with productive activities. And productive activities also includes going out with your friends. It's not all about business and money. Have a social life. A lot of porn addicts don't have a social life. They're inside the house all day, every day. Ain't got shit to do. And that's why they get distracted very easily. Hit the gym. Burn some of that sexual frustration with a good leg session. Believe me, you'll come back home so tired, you won't even have the energy to play with yourself. Okay? Ask yourself, when was the last time you had such a stacked day where you had so many things going on and you felt good about that day? When was the last time? Was it a year ago? 2 years ago? Be honest with yourself. Okay? So look, make the decision to develop those productive habits. When you relapse, don't sit there and bathe in your frustrations. Have a shower and get back to being on NoFap. That's it. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you give it a like, comment, let me know what you think down below. And if you're new here, consider subscribing for more content just like this. See you in the next one.